What's going on, everyone? It is Tuesday. It's 6 o'clock. Well, it's actually 6:01, but you know what time it is. It's time for some fantasy football talk. We're back again with some more fantasy football. I'm so excited. Raise your hand if you are now 6-0.
Jesus Christ.
Raise your hand if you're, 5-1. Oh, I'm 6-0, so. Oh, there we go.
I'm 5-1.
Your name's Vincent.
I'm 3-3.
Let's go, baby.
In
Hey,
like
man.
2 weeks.
We're doing awesome. And one of my leagues, I'm not doing so great, dealing with a lot of injuries there, and people are not wanting to trade. And that's the biggest problem right now is like, hey, people are not available in the waiver wire anymore, which is, I kind of want to bring that up because right now the waiver wire is kind of trash. I'm not going to lie. It's just full of handcuffs at the moment. But what can I do to better my team? You got to look out for trades. You got to look for some trades. You got to find that good groove going on. And who do you trade for? How much should you pay for this guy? Should you overpay? Should you buy low, sell high? What can you do to better your team? And that's what we're going to talk about today. Of course, we still have our waiver wire pickups for week 7. We're not going to bail out on that because Tuesday is waiver wire Tuesday. And like I said, I'm not so excited on what we have on the waiver wires or what's available for us. But we still have some potential there. I still have my blue chip player. I still have my my low risk, high reward type guy, and we're gonna get right into it, you guys. These guys are just on the books. They're my own little bookies. I see that they're like working so hard on these fantasy stats. But I do want to start off with quarterbacks like we always do. This week, I mean, last week we hit pretty good, right? I said, hey, if you want a quarterback that's going to get you 15 to 16 points, I said pick up Jimmy G, but only for last week. And he got 16 points. So what more can you ask for? One heck of a job, Jimmy G. Glad he's there. I think we also talked about we've been talking about Gino for quite a while, but I can't remember who else we talked about. But yeah, Jimmy G was our biggest say. I think it was Gino that we still had on there. But this week, I'm calling these the streaming QBs. Okay, so in the fantasy world, stream means week to week. So kind of like what I do with defenses, you find a new player each week. And here this week, we have quarterback Bailey Zappi. I'm saying Bailey Zappi. I'm talking about the third string quarterback for New England. Close your jaw. I know you're shocked, but you know what? This guy has proven that he is not afraid to let go of that ball. Okay, he's also proven that the team trusts him. He's been doing not too bad. He's been averaging 11 points, which is not bad. And next week they're going against Chicago, which are bad. They're very bad. Okay, defensively they're pretty bad. I think they're ranked. I wouldn't be fooled. They're ranked like 12 against fantasy quarterbacks. But like I said, I will not be fooled. They had this young stud, Ramondre Stevenson, which we talked about last week. Which I said go pick him up. I've been saying to pick him up since the draft. That's been tearing it up. And Ramondre Stevenson, what he does very well is having the ability to catch the ball. Now, of course, Bailey Zappi has to be the guy to throw it to him. And it's just going to continue to do so until Mac Jones comes back. I think Bailey Zappi has a very favorable matchup this upcoming week, and he could potentially just keep on carrying it over. Now, I said this is a streaming quarterback. Only good for next week. This is not a fantasy season quarterback that will help you out all season long. One, he's not going to be the starting quarterback the whole season. And two, he's going to hit a lot of stumps. I mean, that offense does struggle. It does. But yeah, I got Bailey Zappi. You guys have anything for quarterbacks?
I do. Let me go ahead and find him up here so I can pull him up. It's going to be good for a lot of these fans. Hopefully he can come back this week, but I think Dak Prescott, who is not owned in a lot of leagues, he's only owned in 61.6%, which makes sense. He's a Cowboys quarterback, but he is pretty decent. He will be a guy who can come back and slide into the starting lineup again, even though there's a controversy between him and Cooper Rush, but Cooper Rush finally lost the game. So I think now Dak Prescott is easily going to slide in, get you above 16 points, probably almost every game. There will be some outliers here and there, but he is kind of a quarterback that you can have season long. So if he is on your waiver wire and you have someone coming up on a bye, whether you have Jalen Hurts who's on a bye this week, or you have a couple other guys who are on byes, there's 4 teams so far. But these bye weeks are coming and they're going to keep going. So I know every single week someone's going to need a quarterback. And right now is the best time to get them. Get Dak Prescott. and I think he can be a consistent guy for you almost every week.
I just realized I have to pick up a quarterback. Teams that are on bye, there are the Bills, the Rams, Vikings, the Eagles. Two big names there, Josh Allen and Jalen Hurts. Top two quarterbacks for fantasy football. Hello, we need to find someone to fill out the gaps. And before we head out to the next quarterback, I do want to say how crazy it is how people are so ready to accept Dak Prescott coming back after Cooper Rush, won them four straight and lost this past game. Like, come on, he just lost one game. Of course he has jitters. It's Sunday Night Football, a rivalry game, whatever. We're not going to talk about that today. But another quarterback that I have here, which honestly, he's starting to get picked up a little bit more. Okay, not too much. He's only owned at 20% of leagues. I'm talking about Daniel Jones. Okay, and if you're in a freak league, like kind of like what I am, and you have points per carry, this guy's your guy. All right. He is your guy. But let's say you're not in that league, right? He's averaging 15 points. He's averaging 15 points. This guy that's only owned in 20% of leagues, you want someone who's consistent and someone who you can rely on getting those the same average points. And right now the Giants are red hot and they're going to continue to do so. Next week, they're going against Jacksonville, who's been struggling defensively. As we've seen, they're struggling defensively. I forgot what they're ranked against air yards, but you better believe that Daniel Jones will let that ball fly. It's not all Saquon Barkley. Daniel Jones will get a piece of that and will score easily 16 points next week.
Not bad.
Okay.
Reed, you got any quarterbacks, Reed?
No, I didn't, but I just looked up one now, so I don't have him on the banner. But I'm gonna go Derek Carr. He's going against Houston this week, and Houston's not too hot as far as defensively. I think Derek Carr could potentially put up some decent points.
Not bad, not bad.
But I'm trying to pick up Bailey Zappi.
You're trying to pick up Bailey Zappi, huh?
I am.
You're convinced?
I'm convinced in one of my leagues. Not in all my leagues, but I got Matt Ryan in one of my leagues, and I need to get rid of him.
Nice. Randy Miller, appreciate you being here live on the stream. Welcome to NSP Fantasy Football Talk. He's asking, would you trade Deontay Johnson for Etienne? Current wide receivers are I don't need to see your current wide receivers. I'm just going to cut right to the chase. 100% yes. Okay. Travis Etienne is on an extreme buy low type basis. We've seen it week over and over again that Etienne is producing more yards than James Robinson. And the thing about Etienne is that he gets more targets than James Robinson. He's kind of like a Breece Hall. Okay, he's like a great value version of Breece Hall, where he's slowly going to transition. You could also name Ramondre Stevenson. He's slowly going to transition into that lead role for that team. 100%. Right now, Deontay Johnson, he's dealing with quarterback switches, right? We just had Kenny Pickett suffer concussion. Hopefully he comes back healthy, but it's going to be on and off, on and off. Then you're going to find more and more inconsistencies when it comes to Pittsburgh, because right now Kenny Pickett's fighting for the lead role over there in Pittsburgh, and he's fighting for the lead targets. Which right now they're kind of tied, but Kenny Pickett's looking like he's taking that role. So 100% you take Etienne. I do want to see his rest of the roster. He says current wide receivers are London, Evans, Higgins, Thielen. Current running back is Mixon and Walker. Kenneth Walker, obviously my guy. You are doing your research. You picked him up. Great win for you. He is definitely a league winner. I do believe he's going to be more productive than Joe Mixon. So congratulations. But yeah, I like your team. But Etienne should help out fill that roster, especially in that flex position. I can see you could be struggling there with your wide receivers. Don't give up on Evans. He did have a bad week, but Tom Brady's just dealing with some personal issues. Deontay is like 6'7" in my leagues, and targets is my issue with letting him go so fast. 6 out of 7 in leagues. Oh, okay. So, like I said, I think you have a higher upside with Travis Etienne, and especially, I don't know what your record looks like right now, but especially if you're looking for the playoff part, Etienne's playoff schedule is very favorable, and by that time, he will take that lead role over Robinson, producing you, my friend Randy, more points for fantasy football. I don't know. Do you guys agree here?
I agree here. I think Etienne has a better upside than Deontay does. Now, I will say Deontay Johnson, as we've been kind of down on him over this entire year, but he has past 2 weeks gotten pretty decent points. 11 points 2 weeks ago. Last week, 9.2. They're not like game-breaking numbers like 20 plus, but those are decent points.
Right.
And that's kind of reliable. The only bad week he had was against the Jets week 4 with 4.8. Everything else has been 9 points or above. But I
Yeah.
will still go with ETN. I think he has a way higher upside, and I think having another running back, because I think you're kind of stacked on wide receiver in my opinion.
I say he's a good consistent when it comes to stack because I'm not the biggest fan of London, right? But he has Mike Evans, and when T Higgins is 100% healthy, he is a factor to play out there in that offense. And then he has Adam Thielen, who has been just slowly progressing more and more and getting more and more involved into that offense that has been finding a lot of success. Hey, Randy, appreciate you being here. If you're feeling generous, hit that subscribe button. We are doing a huge giveaway, which is on our YouTube shorts and our TikTok. So go find that YouTube short and for you to have a chance to win this autographed mini helmet right behind me. Muhammad says, who dat nation? Hey, dude, I'm so sorry. I just got out of work. I went straight to the shower, came straight here. I'm still going to get to you tonight. But yeah, we could find something definitely, Muhammad. Like I said, I need to share the love. I hate taking all the dubs from that league. I just hate it. I'm going to keep on talking trash as much as I can. Penny Feather, appreciate you being back, my guy. Always a pleasure seeing you. It's CD or Amon Ron at wide receiver 2 PPR. Got Walker at flex. Oh, I love Walker. I can't stop talking about Walker because this is someone that Vince and I know Vincent, I don't know if you did too, Reed, but this is someone that we've been talking about since the fantasy football draft. This is the guy that you get in the last pick in the draft, and he's going to have a huge upside. And turns out it is what it is, right? But CeeDee Lamb or Amon-Ra St. Brown, do you guys have confidence in the Lions coming off a bye week, finding the rhythm, and getting Amon back into his pace of being that wide receiver 1 and getting that production?
I'll go right now just a little bit real fast. I don't think so. I've been looking at the past 3 weeks that Amon-Ra has been either playing or he's been out. But when he has been playing, he's only had 1 game in the past 3 games where he has 4 points. The other 2 games, he has 0. And he played in one of them when it wasn't the full game, but he was not very effective. It was when they got shut out. So it's not very likely that he will come in and be a stud like he was in the first 4 weeks. But just in my opinion, I think CD right now, he's on a roll. Even if Dak comes back, he's going to have a rhythm where he's running routes very crisply, very good. Right now, he's averaging about 12 points per game. If you're not in a PPR league, he's averaging just under 10. So he is a decent guy, but I don't think Amon-Ra right now will be a factor in that offense. He will have a few catches, but I think CD is the better guy to go with.
I remember. So go ahead.
I'm going to decide this completely on the defenses they are playing.
Thank you.
They're playing each other this week.
Right.
The Cowboys have a pretty good defense. I think Amon-Ra will still make his plays, but CeeDee Lamb has potentially a big game coming against that Lions defense, who has been run all over, back and forth through every single week so far. I think CD in just this week, I would go CD over Amon-Ra, but I wouldn't continue that trend the rest of the season, in my opinion.
No. I think you hit the nail right in the head, Reed, and I was going to bring that up. So I'm so glad that you brought it up. For some reason, my app's not working again. I want to prove a point, but what I was going to say is that CeeDee Lamb, even though sometimes production might not be there, he is still the wide receiver 1, and he's still getting the targets as a wide receiver 1. So last week he only scored 13.5 points. I think if I remember correctly, he only scored 13.5 points, but at the same time he had over 13 targets. Or 13 receptions, I should say. And so he's getting the targets, so he's getting the opportunity to score more. And like you said, Reed, with the defenses clashing together, I do think Detroit has a weaker defense than Dallas, giving Dallas the opportunity to find their rhythm again with Dak Prescott if he comes back this week. And also want to mention this. I actually forgot to put this on my fantasy notes. And I literally wrote it down in my draft, but I didn't put it down on my final draft, which was Jameson Williams. He's coming back. He's coming back. That was the highest prospect wide receiver coming out of the draft. He did come into the draft injured, but this guy is something else. And the Detroit Lions got him. And this is around the time frame where he's going to be coming back into play. He might not play this upcoming week, but he probably start transitioning the following week. So if you have room on your bench, take a risk. Go out there, pick him up, store him for a little bit because you don't know what's going to happen. And he could easily start challenging Amon for that wide receiver 1 spot. I could definitely see that. But yeah, I'm super excited, but I'll definitely start CD over at Monron in the flex. If those are your flex options, you are obviously in a good spot. So good for you, my guy. I think we're done with QBs, right? We're going to transition to some running backs here.
I think that's good. Yeah.
I have
go ahead.
I have one more QB I want to talk about.
All right.
He's been dropping a lot ever since he got hurt. Let me go ahead and pull up his percentage of rosters that he's on. He's on 64.3% of rosters. In the beginning of the season, he was on over 80. So a lot of people have dropped him. So if he is in your league, he's going to come back soon. If it's not this week, it's next week. Again, I want to make it a point that if you are coming up with a quarterback on a bye week, Tua is a good guy to have. He will slide back into the Miami offense where everybody is pretty much healthy, minus a few guys here and there in the running back position. But other than that, he has everybody. He has Hill. He has pretty much everyone. I mean, everybody, Waddle, they're all doing great right now. It just depends on how healthy he's going to be when he comes back. So he's not a first sure guy, but I think he is going to be a guy who helps you later on in the season.
Oh, yeah, most definitely. And for you guys who do own Raheem the Dream Mostert, don't fall off on him, okay? He still had great targets and great opportunities. It's just that they fell short that game. What can you do? It's going to happen. They're going to get outplayed. Let's move on to some running backs here. I do want to take up a little bit of time because I'm going to talk for a 2-for-1. I'm going to talk about Kenyon Drake. Kenyon Drake, we're high on him coming into week 1 because Gus Edwards was injured. J.K. Dobbins was injured. And we're talking about the Baltimore Ravens here, who are a very run-heavy team, whether it be with Lamar Jackson or their actual running backs. They like to run the ball a lot. So whoever the running back 1 is going to get a lot of production. And J.K. Dobbins this past week re-aggravated his injured knee, of course, on turf, right? Freaking on MetLife Stadium. I can't stand that stadium. That stadium needs to get banned. Turf needs to get banned. It needs to be all real grass, whatever, right? But J.K. Dobbins re-aggravated that knee. So he is questionable to play this upcoming week in week 7, which I don't think they should play him. I think they should rest him for 2 weeks, let him come back 100% healthy, because all you fantasy owners that have J.K. Dobbins, this guy will be a gem later on in the season when it comes to playoff time. And Kenyon Drake, he will easily be that running back 1 only if Gus Edwards is not going to play. He just got released from the PUP list. He should be able to play, but will he be limited snaps? We don't know. AC says, have Russ and Wentz in 1 QB dynasty. Finally, we've been getting a lot of 2 QB dynasty leagues, and I'm just like, oh, it's enough, right? Would you be trying to acquire Trevor Lawrence or ride Russ and the wire and wait to draft Stroud, Young, another 23 rookie QB? Honestly, so we got to see what teams are kind of falling right now, right? What teams are falling? Who needs a QB? Who's desperate? Because I would love to get a Young, right? Young's very dynamic player. Of course, he is dealing with the injury right now. Stroud, I can't stand Ohio State. You know, at Ohio State, quarterbacks usually don't pan out. Look at Justin Fields. I do feel like he has the most potential out of any Ohio State guy who has entered the league still, but very bad scenario because of the offense they're in. Now, honestly, with you having Russ and Wentz, and honestly, I know they got Sam Howell, but they might take another shot on a QB next year, the Commanders, if they clean house once again. But yeah, if I were you, I can't let Russ cook anymore. I can't let him cook that hot dog spaghetti. It'll be fun to take a chance on a young QB like Stroud or Young. So I don't know. What do you guys think? I don't trust Russ. He has lost that completely. I think he only got that many points this past week because of that horrible penalty that happened in the first drive, which allowed him to score a touchdown. And it was a broken up defense already with dealing with a lot of injuries. So he took advantage of that. I don't think he's a quarterback to move forward with. Trevor Lawrence, he's been struggling lately. We could see an upside with him, but and then Wentz just got injured. Wentz is going to be injured for. I forgot about that.
That's what I was just about to bring up. I think he has to honestly really ride with Russ for the next few weeks, and I would say ride the waiver wire. I don't trust in Trevor Lawrence that much. As he was doing good in the beginning, but his team is kind of falling off now. They don't know what direction they're going in. Their receivers are not really getting open against the defenses that they're playing right now. So I wouldn't trust in him too much, even though he is getting rushing touchdowns. But I don't see that being a factor every game because they're not going to get in the red zone that often. But I think you ride with Russ and you play the waiver wire. You see the matchups and week to week, and then you wait until you can draft a rookie quarterback if you want to. But I might be saying to seek out a trade where you can get someone who likes Russell Wilson, and maybe you can trade like that. But in a dynasty league, it's kind of hard. So I say you ride with him and see what's on the waiver wire in the next few weeks. But yeah.
Yeah, he says the Daniel Jones and Tannehill are the best quarterbacks on the waiver wire right now.
We just talked about Daniel Jones. Yeah, we just talked about
him a little bit ago. I would go with Daniel Jones. He's on a hot team. He's not most flashiest guy, but he can get you good points. Better than Russ, in my opinion. We got Penny Feather over here. You guys like Hawkinson going forward?
Like I said, I want to prove a point, but right now this trash app it just does not work.
I'm looking on the website right now. What stat do you need, AJ?
I just want to see the targets that he gets.
I can't see targets on the website.
Yeah, it is horrible. But
for Hawkinson, I have it up right now. I have to log in right now. The game where he played against the Seahawks and he had 40 points, he had 12 targets. But the next game when he played the Patriots, he only had 4 targets and he caught 1. So it was, I think it's just a matchup type of thing for Hawkinson, and that Amon-Ra was out.
You see, and that's the thing. And then target share is going to continue to increase because not only Amon-Ra is back, but also DJ Chark is back, and also you're getting Jameson Williams coming in, which that's very exciting, and people want to get him involved in the game. And then you have D Swift coming in, and also Williams out there. There's too many targets there. There's too many stars in that team, which it's going to be kind of like a George Kittle. You're going to have games where he pops off, but it's just not going to be consistent. But if I'm going to be completely honest with you guys, if you have a tight end that's producing an average, not an average, but at least 5 points a game, that's a win in my books. Okay, not everyone could be a Mark Andrews. Not everyone could be Travis Kelce. If they're producing at least 5 to 6 points, that's where you want to be at. I think Hawkinson could definitely do that. But like I said, he does have a few inconsistencies. ACL. Oh, yeah, he already talked about that. Lincoln was here, says, hey, appreciate you coming back, Lincoln. Thank you so much. Says, I traded Brian Robinson for Darren Waller and Thielen. It is a dynasty and a 1.5 tight end premium. I did the trade because I can now start Kelce, Andrews, and Waller. Thoughts?
I remember him from
he had a similar, he had a similar question last week, or was it Saturday? He had a similar question where he has Kelce and Andrews, which is a freaking monster. He just bullies people with his tight ends. Darren Waller, he's been kind of a disappointment. Week 1 and 2, he had an amazing weeks, right? And now Darren Waller is dealing with an injury, so we don't know what we're going to get for him. If he is 100% healthy, I'll say, hey, man, F it. Let's try it out. Let's try that 3 tight end bomb, because I do feel like Waller will find his footing again. And if that team wants to win, they need to get that guy involved. They need to. They can't just rely on Devontae Adams. He's a great wide receiver, but he cannot do it all. We see them getting Josh Jacobs more involved, but they need that dynamic player, short turnaround player, which is Darren Waller. And I could definitely see him turning the corner for this team and for fantasy. So I say, F it, hey man, do it. I think that'll be pretty fun, pretty cool. Imagine someone saying, hey, I had Kelce, Andrews, and Waller, which coming into this fantasy season, they're the top 3 tight ends talked about. Yeah, so that'll be monstrous. That'll be legendary, Lincoln. Yep. Appreciate you being here. Hey, appreciate UAC. I think you've been here before, but if not, if you're feeling generous, hit that subscribe button. We're always here. We do Fantasy Football Talk Tuesdays, and we're trying to get it involved on Saturdays as well. Live, we answer every single question. We are trying to grow. So appreciate you, my guy. Chris Chris Ganava says, "Hey guys, who's droppable in my team this week? Half PPR QB is Hill. Hill, wide receiver Waddle, Renfro, Eckler, Benjamin, Andrews, Aaron Jones, Dubs, Murray, Carter, Moore, Phillies defense." Okay, so dang, you have Kyler Murray on the bench. Okay, is it Kyler Murray or Latavius Murray? I do want to know that.
Says in the next one he has Hurts and Thielen on a bye week, so he needs some waiver recommendations.
Well, if he needs waiver recommendations, then he probably has Latavius Murray on his bench. We just talked about QBs. We did talk about a little bit of Daniel Jones. Daniel Jones, he's out there. He's only owned 20% of leagues, and he's on a monster high right now for the Giants, and they're going against Jacksonville, who has been struggling defensively. Another guy who's very unlikely to or seems unlikely to produce for you would be Bailey Zappi. That's if you absolutely need a quarterback. He's been on the rise, and he's going against Chicago, another very weak defense this upcoming week, so that could definitely hold you over. But guys, who should he drop from his bench?
He does say he has Latavius Murray.
I like Latavius. Don't drop Latavius.
No.
I think the only guy that's droppable in his roster right now would probably be either, in my opinion, I think it would be Renfro or Moore, because even though Moore is going to be getting more of the passes thrown to him, he is not clicking this year. He is not out there looking good in his routes. He's just not good with the Panthers whatsoever. I really think that he does want to trade for sure because he's tired of the atmosphere there. But I think those are the only two guys droppable. My only question is I don't know why he has Taysom Hill in his QB spot. I would probably say he needs a waiver wire pickup there for sure.
I would drop Renfro 100%. That would be my choice.
I like y'all's choices here. I want to get going to Lincoln here. I'm clapping because I saw his comment. It says, "I also traded Romeo Dubs for Bellinger and a 2023 early mid-second. Should I keep him as a stash or trade one of my four tight ends? I am pretty set on keeping Andrews, Kelsey. They got me a floor. Hey, dude, I think you should trade one of your tight ends. Kelsey, he is coming to his last few years of being such a dominant player for fantasy football. So, of course, you don't trade Kelsey. And I don't think you trade Mark Andrews because they're going to easily extend Lamar Jackson this offseason, and he has to be a big part of that offense. As far as Darren Waller, if, excuse the language, but if shit continues to hit the fan, then they're going to have to let go of some big-name players. I think Darren Waller will be one of them. So if you were to get rid of one, I would say maybe probably Bellinger, just for that off chance that they keep Waller. But either Bellinger or Waller, I can see. I just can't see the Giants being so dominant next season. It's hard for me to. It's hard for me to see them so great this season, but I don't like it. I just don't. I don't know, y'all. What do y'all think? Y'all agree here?
I agree with that. I would trade Bellinger.
Yeah, for sure, Bellinger. My only thing is, I think Kelsey might be still a guy to keep for sure for next year. Just so you can run that double-headed monster again at the tight end position.
Disgusting.
It's going to be disgusting for at least 2 more years, in my opinion, unless Mark Andrews decides that he wants to throw it up anytime soon. I don't see that happening. I really don't see Kelsey retiring either or decreasing in his volume that he's getting right now. He looks healthy. He's always been healthy. So I'm knocking on wood here for you. Keep those two guys because you're going to have a lot of success in the next 2-3 years.
Nice. Let's keep on moving. So he also says, by the way, what do you guys think of Moore and Alec Pierce? So I could tell you this about Alec Pierce. He's very similar to, I can't say similar, but he gets the targets, right? He gets the targets and he gets almost as much as Pittman, sometimes as much, sometimes even more. So he gets the targets. Now, I think he's horrible in yak yards, okay? Because either he doesn't catch the ball or he catches the ball and he doesn't know what to do with himself. Okay, I like him a lot, and I do feel like he would eventually find himself because if I'm not mistaken, he is a rookie. So he still needs to gain that experience. And right now, I don't want to call it, I'm not calling it, but I don't want to jinx myself, but I do feel like the Colts are turning that corner. I do feel like they're starting to figure things out and what they need to do. Matt Ryan looked pretty solid last week. I feel like he could continue to do so and continue to give players like Michael Pittman and Alec Pierce a lot of profit when it comes to fantasy football. I like Alec Pierce more than I like Moore there, if I'm speaking freely.
Yeah, I agree with that. Yep.
All right, cool. Chris has another question. I had Hill as a flex. I just happened to throw him at QB just because I'm thinking about who to drop. LOL. Yeah. Hey man, whatever questions you have, come on, bring it. We got a lot of answers here. We got a lot of waiver wire picks. We got a lot of things to talk about for fantasy football. It's a lot of fun here. Muhammad says Saints offense too mid for Hill to thrive. So should I bring out the notes that I made last week about Hill?
Do it.
Yeah, I mean,
Cool.
I honestly, I do. No, I deleted. I don't know what I did with those. Right? I said, yeah, Hill scored the most points out of every tight end. Yeah, he did have one hell of a game. Is it consistent? No. Can you predict it? No. This is a guy that you don't want to have on your fantasy football team. Will it happen again? Maybe. It just might because how involved that he is. But if it's me, I do not have Hill on my team unless I'm absolutely desperate, right? Or if I'm from the future and I've seen what games that he's done, you don't want to have Hill. It's going to be too inconsistent. You don't know what you're going to get out of that guy.
No.
Says just so you know, it's Rondell Moore. Oh, Rondell Moore. Okay.
Oh, yeah. He had a decent game this past game. A few catches here and there, but I just don't know what's on his waiver wire. There's a lot of guys out there. I know in some leagues, I want to talk about this guy later once we move to wide receivers, but Josh Reynolds, look for him if he's on your waiver wire because for some reason nobody's looking at him. He's averaging 14 to 15 points a week.
I don't like Rondell Moore anymore. Just because you got D-Hop coming back. They just traded for Robbie Anderson. I know Brown just suffered through an injury. I know Connor's going to be coming back from an injury as well. But you could tell that the offense is entirely different whenever D-Hop is involved. And then you bring another, I don't want to say stud wide receiver because I don't like him, but another good wide receiver like Robbie Anderson. They're spraying out way too much of the share. And you know the majority of that is going to go towards D-Hop, even more than what Brown was receiving. D-Hop's going to be that guy for that offense. So that's why I don't really like it there, just because the target share is way too much. And then whenever Connor does get healthy, his value is going to be up. I mean, way up. And I kind of regret saying this because Muhammad has him. He's trying to trade him to me. And I like Connor a lot, right? But once everything is healthy, I'm talking about D-Hop, once he finds his rhythm, Robbie Anderson and Brown, that target share, I mean, goes up, allowing them to utilize Connor the way he needs to be utilized and not being crunched up all the time. If that makes sense to you guys. But yeah, I don't like that. Thoughts on Wandell and Pacheco. So I actually have Wandell here in my notes. I think I did. Yeah, okay. So Wandell, I feel like he's on the rise for that team. That team is red hot right now, and they're continuing to do so. And dealing with so many injuries in the wide receiver position, this guy could find himself with a much bigger role for the New York Giants. And they need a guy with a much bigger role for the New York Giants. I think this guy's dynamic. He's fast. He's quick. He's great at route running. I think he could eventually take that spot. Now, am I going to count on that 100%? I'm not. This is a low risk, high reward type of player. So low risk, you can get him. He's out there in the waiver wire. He's only owned in 1.4% of leagues, and he could potentially be that guy to rise. That was going to be George Pickens, but now you have that carousel or seesaw going back and forth with QBs. So I like him a lot. Anyone have any comments about Pacheco?
I haven't really heard too much about him, so I don't know his role there yet.
Yeah. Real quick, you skipped one, AJ. We're going to go to Jacob.
I'm so sorry.
Should I trade Swift, Jamal Williams, and Montgomery for Jonathan Taylor, Hines, Cooks, and Ayuk?
Ooh. Cooks. Ooh. So you're talking about Brandon Cooks?
I would assume so, yes.
No. The only eye candy I see there is Jonathan Taylor. You don't want to get Jonathan Taylor and Hines. It doesn't make much sense to me if you have both those guys, especially if Taylor is healthy. Brandon Cooks, he could do you some justice, good flex. But Brandon Ayuk, I'm going to stick to my guns here. I'm sticking to my guns. Brandon Ayuk is that type of player that you don't know when he's going to pop off. Okay, you don't know. And then going forward, the Niners are facing the Chiefs next week, and then after that, they're playing against the Rams, which they're going to be pissed off because we embarrassed them last time. You tell me, is Ayuk going to have a hell of a game like he did against the Atlanta Falcons? No,
it's
okay.
unpredictable.
It is unpredictable. I don't like that. It is too inconsistent. He's trying to swindle you, my friend. I will say no to that trade. If you can, try to get Jonathan Taylor on that buy low, but I wouldn't. Sorry?
The only thing I would do here is you have Swift and Jamal Williams. That's always scary for me to have two running backs that are on the same team on your team. I would try to trade one of those two.
Right, but they're trying to do that to him again because they have Taylor and Hines. So if you could do that double up, let's say, hey, I'll give you Swift and Jamal Williams for Jonathan Taylor. Gimme. You do that. And I like Montgomery. I know he didn't have the greatest game, but he's going to be getting the majority of that role. But I got this guy here in my notes, Khalil Herbert. He's continuously outproducing Montgomery, making bigger plays than Montgomery. He could potentially take that lead role from him. I don't think it's going to happen, but it can. And I think Khalil Herbert is probably one of the best handcuffs that you could get right now because Montgomery is struggling. He could bounce back, but I do like Montgomery for now. I know he had a bad game, but let's see what happens moving forward. But yeah, don't take that trade. I think you're good there. I see that you put the comment in twice. That's my bad. We do answer all questions. Didn't mean to skip over you like that, but hopefully we helped you out. Let's see where we're at. Right there. Says, would love to stash, but don't have the room possibly next week and hoping it won't be too late. I don't think it will be too late. I think Wandell, I think he could do decent again where he scores maybe like 14 points. But that's what you want from a guy like that. That's what you want from a young player is to start finding a rhythm and start finding consistency. Like I said, he reminds me a lot of George Pickens, where he's that dynamic player that just needs a chance. And right now they're actually starting to show him. And I think you could wait. I think he'll be available. Like I said, this is a big thing depending on what your league looks like. But yeah. No, definitely wait. If you don't have the room right now, definitely wait.
I was looking at this one, and I mean, it would not be a bad trade, but I still think you hold on to Tua. I just like to have two quarterbacks at the same time for some reason. Sometimes matchups don't go well, so the other one has a way better matchup than the latter, but. Gallup is a good wide receiver, but Rondell, I don't know how much production he's going to continue to get. I think it was just a 1 week thing here, honestly.
I think you're moving lateral here. If you make this trade, you're moving lateral, but you're losing a potential good backup just in case Joe Burrow does get injured. But Drake London, he's on the same level as Michael Gallup. And the same level, maybe a little bit higher. Probably no, the same level as Rondell. Gallup's just a little bit higher than London, but you're moving lateral, and you don't want to do that. Okay, you want to keep on increasing, keep on getting your team better. I mean, it won't be a horrible trade. It won't be a great trade. It's just kind of mid. I don't see any type of value for you to do so. So I'll probably just stay away from that. You're not losing too much if you don't take it. I mean, you're not losing hardly anything at all. Better QB stream, A-Rod or Matty Ice. Oh, so I actually got asked this question here. Aaron Rodgers, of course, he's probably one of the best quarterbacks to ever play the game, right? But Matty Ice, he had a pretty solid game. And like I said, I see the Colts potentially turning the corner and finding themselves, and they're going up against Tennessee. They're ranked 31st against fantasy QBs. They're ranked 31st. They're nearly last. They're basically last, which is horrible. And if Matty Ice comes out freaking ice cold like he was last game, he could have a better game. And I like how you use the stream. That's good terminology right there for fantasy football.
Yeah, definitely do not start Aaron Rodgers until that offense can be proven that they are working on all cylinders. Until then, he could have a stinker again with like 12 points.
Yo, Joe, appreciate you, man. I'm so glad you made it here. Hopefully you got your kids working and finding you some good fantasy stats because we're tired of doing it. Lincoln says, any rookies that haven't had a breakout game or buy low candidates for Dan? Yes, here we go.
Here we go.
I want to say he's talking about, rookies that haven't broke out just yet. So I want to talk about two people. One is a guy who's finally coming off of IR, who is the highest draft prospect for the wide receiver position. I'm talking about Jameson Williams, right? Hopefully the Lions figure themselves out next year, and that trash Goff is not on the team. But even if he is, you could definitely see Jameson Williams taking that lead role or fighting for that lead role with Amon-Ra St. Brown. But yeah, he's a guy. He's out there. He's available. I'm telling you, no one has him. I think I just picked him up in one of my leagues just for funsies, right? For who cares? But this guy's out there. Great. Another guy that I really like, which will be utilized more in the future, is James Cook. I'm going to continue to talk about James Cook. He's not owned right. He's only owned in 19.9% of leagues, but you just saw him take over the running back 2 position. He is now the solid running back 2 right behind Singletary. And do you really think, and I know it's a huge possibility that it happens, but do you really think that the Bills are going to continue forward with Singletary next season? I don't think so. I'm getting really excited. I'm getting too excited about this. But yeah, James Cook and Jameson Williams are two guys that haven't had breakout games yet that could be awesome for you. I mean, just awesome. But good question, Lincoln. Really good question. Frankie Martinez says, this week, I don't know who I should pick as my flex. Should I pick Dobbins, Christian Kirk, or Brandon Ayuk? Right now, Dobbins, he just re-aggravated his knee injury last week at MetLife Stadium, so you want to stay away from him. He is questionable, and if he does come back, he will probably be limited just because they want to utilize him later on in the season. Now, when it comes to Christian Kirk, he did have a solid game. If I'm not mistaken, Jacksonville is going up against New York Giants, who have allowed a lot of points in the past. But Brandon Ayuk, this is what I said earlier, and I'm going to say it again, is just inconsistent. You don't know where you're going to get from this guy. He did do very well against an Atlanta defense, but next week they're going against the Kansas City Chiefs. So do you trust Jimmy G going against the Kansas City Chiefs with a weak offensive line? That's up to you. I feel like he will try to get the ball out, but it could be it's a three-way grab. Okay, either Deebo Samuel, Brandon Ayuk, or Jawan Jennings. And you saw him utilize George Kittle last week. That those are more targets going away from him. I would play it safe. I would say Christian Kirk here, just because he is that solidified wide receiver 1, and that's who they go to. He gets the targets. Do you guys agree here, or am I just tripping?
I 100% agree. Dobbins is too scary as of right now. Ayuk is just too unpredictable. Christian Kirk is the safest choice here, unless he has some insider information somewhere. Do not go with Dobbins or Ayuk right now.
Oh, this guy's just on with PP got shot on the foot. Oh, hopefully he comes back healthy. I was about to make an awesome trade, but then he decides to get injured. Oh, dang it, man. I'm so pissed. Alexander, hey, I think this is the first time we've seen you on the stream. Appreciate you being here live. We do answer every question. We do go live for Fantasy Football Talk every Tuesday at 6 o'clock. If you're feeling generous, hit that subscribe button, especially if we're giving you some good advice. It says, do I drop Herbert for Wandell or Thornton? I have Monty. What do you guys think here? I don't think you drop Herbert.
I would say keep Herbert, man.
Go ahead.
Yeah, go ahead, AG. You can take it.
Should I refer back to my notes here?
Yeah.
So Khalil Herbert has continuously been outproducing David Montgomery. Okay, you see it, especially this past week, and he's been making more and more. Like he's been making bigger plays than Montgomery. So that's throwing up red flags for that team. Okay, so we could potentially see him take that lead role from the Bears. Do I think it's going to happen? No, but Montgomery has been dealing with a lot of injuries, so he is a great handcuff. I wouldn't want to risk it, especially for those guys. I think Herbert has a higher upside than those guys, or has more potential to be a league winner for you if they do decide to move forward with Herbert, or if Monty does get hurt. Y'all want to take the floor here, or it's solid?
No, I was gonna reiterate the same thing. Every game that I've seen Montgomery play, Herbert's always behind him, and he's always better. He's looking like he's reading the tackles and the gaps better. He just has more burst right now, and it feels like it's happening a lot with a lot of these younger running backs taking over for the running backs of old. And not all of them are old, but they're just not the new thing. They're not the new toy that everybody wants to play with. And right now, that's the way the league is going. Everybody wants better football. Everybody wants bigger plays, and the coaches see it, and it's just going to keep moving that way.
Joe says, I'm streaming Jimmy G because I'm faithful and I'm a little crazy. Pew pew. Yeah, I think you are a little crazy, my guy. I want to win this game more than anything in the world. Okay, I want to win this game bad, but it's not looking good for us because of our banged up defense and our O line is still not healthy. It looks tough. Is it a winnable game? Very much so. But Jimmy G, he played well these past 3 games. Played very well. It's going to be up to his receivers to carry him and get some fantasy points for him. But yeah, I don't know. You might just be a little crazy. Muhammad says Aaron mid, A-Rod mid. Fantasy football wise, even right now in the NFL, yeah, he's kind of mid. Great show, fellas. Hey, appreciate you. Thank you very much. We go live every Tuesday, 6 o'clock for fantasy football talk. Okay, we got some people going on here in the chat. It says, do you guys like London or Rondell? Okay, so this is why I like London more than Rondell, right? But for fantasy football purposes, I don't because if you look at the play scheme for the Atlanta Falcons, they run the ball a lot. They are a very run heavy team. I mean, just this last game, what's his name? I like this guy. I like the QB, Marcus Mariota. Marcus Mariota was 13 for 14. Great passer rating, but he threw 14 times. Only 14 times throughout the whole game. And that is not good for your wide receivers. They do like to run the ball. Even Marcus Mariota gets involved running the ball. So I don't think London has a lot of upside just because I don't think there's a lot of target opportunity for him. So I like Rondo a little more than London, even though I do feel like London's way more valuable in the NFL. It's just that he's not getting the targets right now. And their offensive scheme is just run heavy that's unfair. I thought you want to say something, Reed. Sorry.
I would personally go with London. He has proven that he can score high point games. He hasn't done one since week 3 with 14. He's been a little quiet these past 2 weeks with 7. But I personally like Drake London more. I think he could be even more used in this offense eventually. I like Drake London more.
Like I said, I would have more on my team. If London still has a chance. He still does. I would rather keep London than Moore fantasy wise. I don't think I see myself starting any of them because right now you know Rondo Moore is going to lose a lot of targets. And I mean a lot, especially with D-Hop coming back and Robbie Anderson getting into that position, a wide receiver position for the Cardinals. And then once Brown comes back, forget about it.
That's exactly what I was going to say. With Hopkins coming back, London's going to slide over into the 2 spot. He's going to get a lot more production there. Rondo's going to slide probably to the 3 and mix in here and there with other wide receivers that are there fighting for that 3 spot. So I think London has more of a better turnout in this situation.
Yeah. I just don't like that offensive scheme. But like I said, I wouldn't start any of those guys for fantasy. Joe Villa says, Dobbins tweaked his knee. Yeah, he re-aggravated his knee last week on MetLife Stadium. Screwed that stadium. Drake might get some work in. Yeah, Kenyon Drake, we do have him on our fantasy football waiver wire pickup. The only thing that scares me is Gus Edwards just came off of IR, and we don't know if they're going to be utilizing him for this upcoming game. Now, even if they do, he might be limited on snaps, but I would say only start Drake London, only pick him up, right, just to be safe, but only start him if both Gus Edwards and J.K. Dobbins are out. Whitworth Scribner says, should I trade Cook, Pierce, Lazard, Dubs for Mixon, Diggs, Montgomery, 12-man PPR? I really like Cook, right, but I like Diggs more. I really like Pierce, but I like Mixon more. I love Lazard and Dubs, but I like Montgomery more. I think you have a higher upside with Diggs, Montgomery, and Mixon. The only thing I don't like, since it is a PPR league, Mixon does not get the targets. Montgomery gets, a few targets, but Diggs is just a point machine because he's going to get at least, and I'm talking about at least 16 targets a game. At the very least, right? But Cook I like because you could utilize him anywhere. Pierce, You like I like it too. Overall, I like it. I think it's a big blockbuster trade, and for you to get Mixon, which I do feel like he's on the downfall and could potentially rise up again, just because that offensive line continues to struggle. He will still produce you some points. Montgomery, he is that bell cow of that offense until the Bears make a decision to move him to the running back 2 position, which I don't think he will do. So only if he does get injured. I like that a lot. I think Diggs just tops it all off. You hear that, Muhammad? That's a real trade right there. If he's still in the chat. Yeah, that's a real trade right there. It says, also, should I trade Jeff Wilson for Rondale Moore since Mitchell is coming back? So I got Jeff Wilson on my trade high right now. But coming into this upcoming weeks, he's on my just trade list. Get rid of him. Yes, I would definitely trade this guy. I don't think Rondale Moore is going to be much of an upside for you. But yeah, once Elijah Mitchell is coming back, they're going to be running a community back league, which he's going to be sharing so many touches. It's not even going to be worth having him on your roster. Elijah Mitchell could be a different story, but we'll get there when the time comes. But yeah, I'll take that trade just to get him off your roster. Joe Villa says, my 12-man has slim pickings at QB. Which QB do you like best? Winston, Jones, Mariota, Mack, Tannehill, Brissett, or Mills? Remember, he is streaming Jimmy G this week. Okay. He says he is. He's looking to stream someone else. I already gave my part earlier. I want to hear what these guys have to say about this QB question.
Definitely not Winston. I mean, the Red Rifle is better than him. Jones, we were talking about him earlier, so this is the person I would go with. Mariota, he had that little what do you call it, splash of brightness or whatever against the 49ers, but they were banged up, and I don't think we're going to see that on a week-to-week basis. Mac still hurt, doesn't even have a job when he comes back. Tannehill, I don't trust it. Brissett, or Mills. I think Daniel Jones is the guy with a hot hand right now. I think you can get safe and consistent points with him. I would go with Daniel Jones.
Oof. Well, I'm going to disagree with you there, Reed. I think Jacoby Brissett's going to be the guy to go with this week. Right now, I'm looking at Daniel Jones's turnout on fantasy. He's only about 12 to 13 points. That's not something that I see as very valuable. Brissett, when he plays teams that are in the 20s as a defense on fantasy, he's averaging 17 to 18 points. So in my opinion, I think Brissett's the guy to go with here, especially since they're playing Baltimore. Baltimore cannot finish games very well, so I could see Brissett trying to come back. And hopefully they don't steal a win there, because we like the Ravens just a little bit. Not AJ, but me and Reed. We always choose them.
Ravens.
We always choose them in our pick'ems. But I think Brissett's the guy to go with here. But don't get me wrong, Daniel Jones is the next guy, because I see Mariota falling again. I don't see Mack starting this week, even if he's healthy. And Tannehill, Tannehill's Tannehill. They're not going to pass the ball too much.
Nice. I will have to agree a little more here with Reed, just because of how things have been playing out, how the Giants have been playing, especially going against Jacksonville, who's been struggling. I like Daniel Jones here, but what I will want for you to do is go see if Matty Ice is available. If he's available out there, I'll say give him a chance. You already said it yourself. You're crazy. Why not just be even crazier and pick up Matty Ice, who's going against a team that's ranked 31st against QBs? Why not? Right? But yeah, I like Jones here. Brissett's not a bad option either. Frankie Martinez says, who would you say is better for flex, Hilaire, Etienne, or Olave? I know Olave may be back this week, but we don't know for sure. I like Olave here, but like you said, we don't know if he's going to be back. But let's say Olave comes back and Michael Thomas is still out. I'll like Olave there. But if you want to not be crazy, if you want to be safe here, I'll say Etienne. Or I might even take a chance at Clyde Edwards-Helaire because the Niners have a banged up defense, and Nick Bosa didn't play last game. Eric Armstead didn't play last game. Their whole defensive front did not play, which left us exposed. But I do feel like Nick Bosa will be back, and Helaire has been losing a lot of share with Jet McKinnon. So I will say Travis Etienne.
I'm gonna go Olave here. Olave is cleared as of now. I know there's kind of some stuff here and there, but on the fantasy app, it says he's clear. He's going to play. He's projected to get 15 points. And when he left, he was averaging 15 to 16 points. So I think him sliding back into the rotation here is why I have him here. But of course, if something changes by the time he does play, I think I'm going to go with Etienne.
Okay.
Nice.
I guess I have to split the tie. Oh,
Well, I
but
said what Vince said.
oh,
Yeah.
okay. All right.
Yeah.
Well, I'm gonna go ETN in my opinion.
All right. I mean, like I said, he's the safest pick because he is healthy right now and he is getting game time. But Olave, I don't want you to start him and then he becomes a game time decision or he gets injured or re-injures himself. I know it was a concussion, but those things are just freak injuries and you never know what's going to happen. But if Olave is 100% and to top it off, if Michael Thomas still not playing, that's the guy for you. But let's go to the next question. CB, appreciate you being here, my guy. It says, hey guys, PPR, need 2 running backs, 1 flex. Mixon, Chubb, Stevenson, Walker, Pierce, Myers, Monroe. Is this guy really asking us this question? I love this. I love
Jesus.
I love when we get asked questions where I'm just like, let's do it. Let's freaking do it, right? So right off the bat, he needs 2 running backs and 1 flex. He has so many good running backs.
Stevenson.
Keep going.
I say Walker in my
yes. Keep going.
I want to go with Chubb here, but I think I might go Pierce as a flex. I think that's where we're gonna differ.
Yeah.
Just because Chubb had a bad game last week, I don't know how the game script is gonna be, but I know running backs against the Ravens is good. But I'm gonna take the chance here and say Pierce gets more points. And of course, Amon-Ra is gonna go in there. Hopefully, he comes back and he plays a factor. But yeah,
You have an excellent problem, CB. I definitely like Stevenson. I definitely like Walker. Those are 2 guys we've been talking about since the draft, and now it's just seeing them being on people's starting rosters and people are looking after them. It just brings tears to my eyes because I'm so happy that we actually get to talk about these guys. But yeah, definitely Stevenson, which had a hell of a game last week. So did Walker. I like Chubb here. I do feel like this will be a bounce back game, and this is a divisional game. Huge divisional game. These 2 teams hate each other. So I think Chubb will show out. I think he'll get a lot of points, but you have excellent choices here. You got Mixon, you got Pierce, you got Amon-Ra.
I think any of those running backs you put in will get you surmountable amount of points. So
oh yeah, great running backs, great problem to have. What I would do if I was in your position, since you are kind of loaded here, I would try to trade some running backs and get some wide receivers. I'm not too hot on CeeDee Lamb and Higgins as your starting spots. Not too hot, but great running back room, and that's how you win games. I mean, that's my whole draft philosophy. Ain't that right, Mo? But it says Wentworth says with the trades, my team is Hurts, Barkley, Mixon, Diggs, Jettas, Sutton, Montgomery, and Njoku, 12-man PPR, 2 flex spots.
Well, Justin Jefferson's on a bye week, so is Diggs.
That's stuff, yeah. I would go with Sutton. I don't like Sutton. Montgomery, they're going against the New England Patriots, who have a very strong defense, so that he could struggle there. Definitely, in my opinion, Barkley and Mixon, I think these are the 2 solid spots that you could rely on. Montgomery could be that guy just because he's the bell cow, but Patriots defense ain't no joke.
Yeah, man. I mean, he's asking for 2 flex spots, so I don't know if that's.
No, I think this is him telling us his team after the trade he just did.
Okay, I want to say that. I want to say
Yeah.
that, but just in case we misread it, I didn't want to be like, oh, next question, know. But just in case.
No, this is a very solid team. That if those trades went through that you just did, I think this is a very solid team that you have here.
Yeah, I think that's a championship team almost. Probably like 1 more running back who's top end, and then see if Njoku can keep it up at tight end. But yeah, it's a pretty good team.
I like how he swindles someone to buy low on Jay Jetta. I could almost guarantee that's how he got him. He swindled someone. He bought very low on him. So congratulations, my guy. This is awesome. If you're feeling generous, hit that subscribe button. It will mean a lot for us. Oh, dang it. Matty Ice is gone. He got shot. CB says, LOL, I wanted to sit Chubb and Mixon. Thanks, guys. Yeah, I mean, let's go back. He said he wanted to sit Chubb and Mixon. Yeah. I mean, with team like that, you got to start Stevenson. You got to start Walker, and you could also start like Vince said, Pierce or Amon-Ra. But I think Chubb will be the guy to help you get some good points. But yeah, some good questions out there. Good questions. Okay, yeah, sure. Sorry, I was looking at something else, but I want to continue going when it comes to our running backs here. We did talk about Kenyon Drake. We talked about Gus Edwards. This is another guy here, Kyren Williams. I think I have his banner up here so you guys know how to say his name. Kyren Williams. No one's talking about him. He was a rookie that was drafted by the Los Angeles Rams, and it kind of looks like Cam Akers won't be with the team anymore. It looks like they're going to want to trade him. And with that being said, someone like Kyren Williams, who they came out in the beginning of the season and said that we have big plans for him, which he will be heavily involved in this offense. Hint, hint. This guy might take that lead role and keep Henderson as that RB2. I'm excited to see what happens. This is a low risk, high reward type of guy. So if you have room, spend it on this guy. He's my blue chip player because he has the most potential to become a great running back, even though it's on an offense that's not very run heavy. So I actually drafted Justin Jefferson. I got Barkley in the third. I subbed to. Oh, hey, appreciate it for the sub, my guy. But good draft. Not a lot of people believed in Barkley. I know I got trashed on too for drafting Saquon Barkley, and it turned out pretty well for him and Mr. Glass, CMC. And it turns out pretty darn well. And talking about CMC, he might get traded. So there's a lot of trade talks about CMC. So who should you pick up? Dante Foreman, right? That's his name. I got it over here. I can't find this stuff. I'm trying to do like 8 things at once. But yeah, we have, there you go, Dante Foreman. He is the backup for the Carolina Panthers. And if CMC does get traded, which I really hope they do trade him, because why waste his talent there in Carolina where they're clearly going nowhere? Dante Foreman becomes that lead back. And the best part about it is if he does get traded, you could potentially have yourself 2 starting running backs, because wherever CMC goes, he's going to be that starting back. And he's still going to be producing that many points because that is how dynamic he is. He is so good of a player, and his talents are being wasted over there in Carolina. So hopefully he can find a new home, not just for your fantasy sake, but for his sake as well. You guys have anything else to add for running backs?
I have one guy. I like Joshua Kelly. He plays for the Chargers. He is behind our man Austin Eckler, who's been doing insane this year. But if Keenan Allen comes back, Joshua Kelly will not be that much of a factor because Joshua Kelly is kind of more of a pass catching type running back. He does get some quality yards on the ground. This past game, he had 16 points against the Browns. But he does get 2 targets every single game, no matter if Keenan Allen is playing or everybody's healthy. He is always targeted. He's always a third down back. So Joshua Kelly has some upside to him, especially if Eckler kind of gets a little hurt here or there, or they want to rest him as the season goes along. I think this guy is a good handcuff to have. Of course, we don't wish any injuries upon anybody, but injuries do happen. Austin Eckler has been carrying the rock a lot. So Joshua Kelly is looking to start carrying a little bit more of the loads so that doesn't happen. So I think the Chargers go with Joshua Kelly as their number 2 guy for sure. And I think he can be a consistent guy who gets just around 10 points here or there.
So it came out that the 49ers have been, at it and try to get CMC. Do I think they're going to get him? I don't think so. I think we're going to have to pay very high for that. And I don't think we could afford to. I would love to have Christian McCaffrey on the team, but honestly, it doesn't really work with our system. Kyle Shanahan likes to run our running backs to the ground, as you see every single year. Each and every one of our running backs gets injured. I mean, it happened this year too, but I would love for that to happen. I just really hope he does not go with the Rams or go with the Cardinals or Seattle. I could definitely see him going to a team like Kansas City. But let's hope that doesn't happen. CMC to you digging it. Oh my gosh. I mean, if you want CMC, you can't be sending me Tyler Boyd, my guy. Come on, man. That's disrespectful right there. And don't even say, I threw in Connors, because that ain't worth it. Yeah. Joel Villa says, don't let the Rams steal them. They did that with Stafford, and look how that came out. Yeah, they did do that with Stafford. And I mean, look, without an offensive line, big surprise. He ain't it, right? I mean, we get the same production with Jimmy G, who's just not the deep ball. If we have a good offensive line, that matters. It matters big time here. But yeah, there's one more guy that I had to add very last minute Monday night, and that is Latavius Murray. Latavius Murray took me by surprise. He I felt really bad because with Melvin Gordon, they kind of sat him down and pushed him to the side, and they didn't give him any touches. They asked him after the game, "Are you injured?" And he said, "No." What happened? He's like, "I don't know. I just wish I would have been involved." You even saw a tear come down his eye because how he felt like he was disrespected. It's not funny, Vince. This guy was hurt emotionally. Come on, man, have some respect out here.
Hey man, I had him in my lineup too, so it was hurting me too. I just thought it was funny how they did it. They just literally took him out and like he just walked to the back of the sideline.
It was pretty bad, and it kind of started to get uncomfortable. Even for me sitting here at home, I was a little uncomfortable because the camera just kept zooming in on him. But Latavius Murray, he took by far the lead role. I have it right here. He had oh my gosh,
15 carries.
Oh, I hate you. 15 carries.
All by 4 by Wilson.
Are you reading my notes?
No, I have my own notes.
That's literally what I have.
No,
Carries followed by Wilson, who had 4. I literally have that right here in my notes.
And this could change for the rest of the season, so you should pick them up.
If you guys are interested in my fantasy notes, go ahead and let us know. Follow us down below or continue on our Discord, which is on our banner on YouTube. We have our Discord linked up there above, which I release my fantasy football tips. I do this every Monday night and I release it on Tuesday so you guys could get the edge on your fantasy league. I'm going to see if I could show you guys a sneak peek of what I have here. Here we go. So this is what I have. I know you can't really see it, but I go in depth with every single guy, who to pick up, who to look out for, how they're rostered with my notes, who to drop, sit, defenses, all that good jazz. So if you guys are interested in those fantasy notes, which are completely free, I just ask that you please subscribe. That's all we ask. And I do all that extra work for you guys to have a better chance of winning your fantasy leagues. But yeah, I guess we could finally move on, right? We already talked about Alex Pierce. We had to talk about Wan'Dale Robinson, which we got a lot of good questions. Do you guys have anything else? Should we start Tanyan's corner?
Oh, we're skipping wide receivers?
Well, I mean, we went through a lot of wide receivers. Do you guys have any?
All right. I don't have anybody.
Yeah,
Jensen's guys. See you later.
Let's
see you later, man.
Talk a little bit about Josh Reynolds. I know I talked about him earlier, but he's been insane. He's so under the radar. I feel like nobody really talks about him. He's only rostered in 33% of leagues. But let me show you his stat line from week 2 all the way to week 5, because week 6 they had a bye week. Week 2, 12.8 points. Week 3, 15.6 points. When he played Seattle in week 4, 21.1 points. And when he played New England in week 5, 15.2 points. He's been a guy that basically only had double-digit points since week 2. Now they come in and play Dallas, so it's going to be a harder matchup for him, but he's been consistent no matter who he plays against. So I think Josh Reynolds is a good guy to pick up. He's only rostered again in 33% of leagues. Pick this guy up because I'm doing it in 2 leagues right now.
Wow. Yeah, what do you think that's going to happen to him once DJ Chark and Amon-Ra comes back?
And Jameson Williams.
Yeah, and Jameson Williams. That's a lot of mouths to feed.
This is my thing. Josh Reynolds has been there longer than anybody, and he's had the same amount of production even when everybody was healthy. Week 2, everybody was healthy. He had 12.8 points. Week 3, I think only Amon-Ra was out, 15 points. When everybody was out, 21 points. He's got consistently 8 or more targets in the past 3 weeks that he's played. And of course, that's when Amon-Ra was out. But once Amon-Ra comes back, he's very consistent with his catches. His catch percentage right now is about 70 to 80%. And I'm not saying that he's dropping any passes, but every time they pass it to him, he's got a 70 to 80% chance of catching it. So I think he's going to continue the production. He may have a few weeks here or there where, of course, he does not have the same production because Amon-Ra is going to take a lot. DJ Chark, he wasn't really a factor when he was playing, so I'm not too high on him, but I know AJ is. But I just think Josh Reynolds is a clear-cut number 2 guy there. Nobody else really has any right to be like above. So I think Josh Reynolds will continue to make that production. Now, I'm not saying he's going to have 21, 15 points every single week, but he is going to be a consistent guy that gets double digits.
All right. I like that, Vince. I've loved Josh Reynolds ever since I watched him live at A&M's field back when he was with the Aggies. I love Josh Reynolds, and I'm loving that he's finally finding his own in the NFL. I think it's really, really cool. But we're going to move into tight ends now that AJ is out of here. We're going to go to your favorite time of the week. Every single week, we're going to go to Tanyan's Corner. All right, here we are. All right, Tanyan's Corner, guys. Did we all? I was expecting a good game from Tanyan, or a decent game, but I was not expecting 10 catches. That's incredible. 10 catches is insane for Robert Tanyan. Do not be expecting this from on forward. 19 points is crazy. I do not think this is going to happen again, but he has now fully established himself in this Packer offense. I definitely think you will see more targets for him moving forward. Now that they the not only the coaching staff trusts him, but Aaron Rodgers trusts him again, and now we know he's fully back from that ACL tear. Definitely look for him to continue getting good, consistent points week to week. But don't be expecting 19 points again. 10 catches is just crazy for Robert Tanyan.
Yeah, bro, that was insane. It was the same thing with Kittle too. I mean, Kittle had a good day. Not as good as Tanyan did, but I think last week was we had some matchups where tight ends were very, very favored because there was a lot of tight ends that scored a lot of points. But one of those guys that did not score a lot of points, I want to talk about him right now. His name is Hayden Hurst. The past 3 weeks, he's been doing pretty well. He has at least 3 catches in the last 3 games that he's played. He's going up against Atlanta, which is very good against tight end matchups, as we saw as Kittle got his first time in the double digits this year. So Hayden Hurst is looking like he's going to be a factor, especially since these Bengals are going a little bit more. Joe Burrow had a good game, so I can believe that Hayden Hurst will be more integrated into this offensive play. So pick him up. He's only rostered in 48.9% of leagues, so everybody is kind of high on this guy. But if he's on your roster and you need someone because you have someone on a bye week, or your guy is just not producing, Hayden Hurst is pretty consistent, in my opinion.
Okay, I like that. You're muted, AJ.
I didn't say anything.
Okay, looks like you're saying something.
No, I won't say anything.
Sorry, just want to let you know.
Thank you. Appreciate that. Those are very good tight ends, you guys. I don't have much. I know we talked about. Oh, what?
We're not even done, AJ.
I know. I was going to talk about my tight end.
You go, your tight end. Go.
Jeez, how rude. I was going to talk about Cade Otton, the guy from Tampa Bay. As we saw, the Cameron Brate did go down with a neck injury, which is very scary. I know a lot of important tests came out negative, so it doesn't look like it's going to be that serious. But if he is going to be out, even though Tom Brady is dealing with some marital issues, Otton should be that lead tight end and should help out the team tremendously, allowing him to get at least 7 to 10 points this upcoming week. So I do think he'll be a good stream tight end for your team. That's my guy.
All right.
Go ahead.
That's a cool guy. You keep going, Vincent.
Yeah, I got a bunch of guys this week, man. It's like Tight End Nation is here. It's what's that place called? Tight End University.
Tight end U.
Yeah, and I'm the headmaster over here because I have so many to talk about. Hunter Henry, I want to talk about this guy. He hasn't been a factor this year lately, but as of week 5, he's a guy who's getting more and more receptions as Zappy is the quarterback there now. So Zappy really likes his tight ends. He's like Geno Smith. He likes to target them because they're safety nets for him. In the past 2 games, he's had 4 receptions. He had 9.4 points in week 5 against Detroit. And he had a tough matchup against Cleveland, but he overperformed and got 16.1 points. So I believe he got a touchdown this week. He does play against Chicago, who is very tough against tight ends. So be very wary of having him in your lineup this week. But as of last week, he overperformed, and he might overperform this week. So if you are having trouble at tight end, Hunter Henry is a good guy to have. I'll just keep going, honestly, right now. Noah Fant, he's all right. He's not better than Hunter Henry right now, but he is consistently getting above 6.5 points every single week since week 3. So last week he got 10.5 points against the Cardinals. He's going up against the Chargers, who are not historically very good against tight ends. So I see him getting another 7 points or so here. So if you want a consistent guy, you're not looking for someone like Mark Andrews or a breakout guy, Noah Fant is the guy to get. But Other than that, I think my last one is going to be Jawan Johnson. He's only owned in 0.1% of leagues, and I do not know why. He's a guy who has been consistently every time he plays, he's getting above 6 points. Week 1, 6.3. Week 2, 8. Week 3, he didn't play because he got a little bit injured with his ankle, but he came back in week 4, 6.3. Oh, so I was wrong. Like when he played Seattle, he got 2.3, but in week 6, he got 8.1 again. So he's consistently taking over in that tight end spot over the Saints. And now I remember why he didn't do so good against the Seahawks, because Hill had the game of his life and he got 40 points. But Jawan Johnson's a pretty consistent guy there at tight end as well. If you are looking for someone who's going to get you a consistent 6 points, Jawan Johnson is another dude.
Nice.
Right.
I like that. So now that we're coming to an end, it's my favorite segment. We got to talk about defense here. If you're like me, I stream my defense every single week to get you the best possible matchup and to get you the most possible points for your upcoming matchup. And this week, these are the teams that I like. I love the Packers going against the Commanders. I think the Packers will have a staple point here and be like, hey, now we are still the effing Packers. And beat out the Commanders, even without Carson Wentz. This is really why I like it so much, because Carson Wentz is gone. And so what are the Commanders going to do? I don't know. That organization is a mess. So I like the Packers going against Commanders. I love the Jets going against the Broncos, just because I still not a believer of the Broncos defense, and the Jets are just red hot right now, especially Brees Hall.
Yep.
Texans don't like, but I love the Raiders playing up against them. I do think like the Raiders will have a turn, will find their turn and try to be that dominant defense against a weak offense like the Texans. So I like the Raiders here. I also like the Patriots going against the Bears. I think that's Monday Night Football. Patriots have an outstanding defense, not anything to mess with, but against the Bears, who are still struggling to find themselves. Very much so. Love that. And then my final one, I have the Bengals going against the Falcons. The Falcons are a fluke team. The Bengals will come out here and dominate defensively.
All right.
We got one question here. Lincoln says, how will CMC do if he is traded? It really just depends on the team, but he's going to be the running back one on any team that he is on. He is arguably probably the best running back in the league because he could just do it all. He just deals with a lot of injuries. I could definitely see him getting traded to a Super Bowl contending team, sort of like the Kansas City Chiefs. We all know that they have interest in there, and they are moving around some contracts to make some space there, and I do feel like that is for CMC. I think you should get Deontay Foreman, because if CMC does get traded, which I do believe he will get traded, then you'll potentially have two starting running backs. So CMC will be the lead back wherever he goes, and will be utilized because whoever gets him, they're going to be paying an arm and a leg for that, and they want to get their money's worth. So I think he'll do awesome if he's traded.
Yeah, I agree with that. Yeah.
Cool. So before we end the show, I just want to go ahead and announce that we are doing this giveaway. So if you have not yet heard, we're doing this Darius Leonard, also known as Shaquille Leonard, autographed mini helmet giveaway. We're giving this away to one of our lucky subscribers. Excuse me. All you have to do is go out there to our YouTube or TikTok, find that video that says giveaway. On YouTube, it will be a short, so it'll be those small little ones. Click on that, and all you have to do is go in the comment section, press done after you are subscribed to us here on YouTube, and you follow us there on TikTok. Now, I know some of y'all don't have TikTok, so in return, what you can do is tag a friend on the comment section below, and then just press done, either on TikTok or YouTube if you don't have one or the other, and that will work out for you. We'll automatically enter you into this giveaway. I know. But yeah, thank you all so very much. This is another fun fantasy football talk. I won't be able to go live on Saturday. I don't know if these guys will be able to or not, but we'll see what happens. They have great fantasy advice, as we all always talk with one another. But good luck to you. If you guys have any more fantasy questions, let us know in the comment section down below, or go ahead and find us on our social media, which is down here, and ask us. We're on Twitter. People ask us all the time, and we answer every single time. So with that being said, you guys, until next time, keep on grinding.